Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Techendo. My name's Dan. This is episode number 3. David's over here. He'll be heckling us and perhaps getting beers for us later.
We can only hope.
Yeah. We're actually too big to fit on the futon all together without getting pretty intimate.
We're all getting really fat this week.
Yeah.
I think we need a bigger futon.
So in this... Yeah, definitely. This is where I sleep, which is sad.
That's weird because this is also where I sleep.
So this is a week where I'm actually, this month I'm not drinking, so you won't see me drinking in this episode, but everyone else gets to enjoy the sweet, sweet nectar of alcohol.
Sweet, sweet nectar of the hose.
It'll be funny because I'm annoyed at every little thing they do tonight. Hilarious. Just kidding. You guys are great.
So, hoe garden. Does that actually mean a garden of hose? Is that
probably garden hose?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's good.
Good stuff.
Good start. Funny laugh.
Strong start. Yeah.
The laugh-o-meter.
Yeah.
What is we're gonna need a bigger boat from?
Yeah.
Also my favorite porno.
3 guys hanging out at my place.
Four guys, I'm hoping.
Otherwise,
somebody here has some explaining to do. Otherwise,
the one with the beard. The one with the beard is a dead giveaway. So our first topic is going to be what happens when companies sell, and I have a couple of friends that have sold their companies. And, well, you sold your company, right?
I have sold a company, yes.
It was acquired by Facebook. And, curious as to why they're buying up startups and then what people do at companies after they've been sold. So, a couple of my friends who are Facebook and Twitter, specifically, let's just say companies X and Y. So they're not called out. I'll bleep out the other stuff. So they're actually hanging out at company X and Y, and they have what are called golden handcuffs. I think, is that right?
I mean, some people like to call it that. I think it's a nice euphemism, right?
Yeah.
I usually use golden cock ring, but because you can't get hard again until you take it off. You know.
Yeah. Golden chastity belts.
Okay, so the golden handcuff is.
So it's a really simple concept, right? Like, they give your company a lot of money, they buy you out, you agree to work there for some amount of time.
Right.
There's a certain amount of time where after that you get a lot more money.
Because you're stock vest.
Well, it's largely a vesting period.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I get no stock until I stay at Facebook.
And it's really just to keep you there so that they didn't just waste their money, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
So you don't take the money and then leave 10 days after you
Well,
sell the company.
take the money. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And but I've got a couple of friends that are basically just hanging out and trying to do as little work as possible.
So it's like a vacation?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that sounds really nice.
I think it depends on the place the people work and probably the people themselves, to be honest. I think, and honestly, I can only base it on, having worked at Facebook. I went into it expecting to basically pretend to work and be on vacation for 12 months.
You've made it 13 months.
Well, no, I'm at 11 and a half now.
Okay.
Not counting then.
Yeah.
No one's counting.
No, I had honestly not expected to try that hard. But my manager at Facebook did an amazingly good job at actually engaging me in a similar way that running a startup engaged me. He let me and my co-founder take control of a new project that was taking place inside Facebook. And we had a chance to run with it as our own kind of thing, which gave us, the same kind of benefits you get from a startup. The control, the ability to make decisions, the ability to fail and succeed based on what you do, while also not having the negatives of a paycheck. And because of that, I've actually tried really goddamn hard, and I'm actually planning on staying for a lot longer than a year at this point.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that you have like a really good group of people around you on your team, and that you guys do a lot of really fun stuff. Like, I have another friend who did a really similar thing. He went from a small company that he was running to another bigger company, and now like he's just sort of hanging out for like, it's been over a year now. He just like, he goes to their wine club, you know, he goes rock climbing during the day. He has a really nice, easy sort of lifestyle, and he gets work done. He's doing cool stuff, but like, it's not at the same pace as before.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of people that just don't like that life. Like, they want to get back into startups. So there are two types of people. The first type, they want to get back into startups, and so they hate their job. So they end up trying to do as little as possible until their time is up. And then the other type that just learn to love that security, really, is what it is, right? I mean,
I think the question is, what is the part of startups that the person likes?
Yeah.
I think some people definitely, all they can really do is do startups. Some people, like, you know, I got into startups because I hate being told what to do. I like being able to make my own decisions. I like the stress, as weird as that is. I run on stress. And I enjoy failing or succeeding based on my own decisions. If I'm given, you know, those kind of drivers inside of a company, I will work very hard inside of a company. Past companies, you know, my job at Apple, I did not have that at all. And I didn't like it, so I left to do a freaking startup. Facebook, I feel I have more of that, so I less feel the need to do my own thing. But I think other people, it's probably different. Like, the drivers they have are things that a company might not be able to offer them at all. In which case, it might be impossible for a Facebook or a Google or a Twitter to keep them longer than whatever the amount of money they have written in, or amount of time they have written in the contract to get the money is.
So, I mean, is that all it boils down to? Is it like a period of time between your startup and another startup? Or is it like, is it an opportunity to try something different? Is it just like a security blanket? Like, what do you think is actually the value on either side of that? Like, for the company that like acquires another startup, like, there's like the people or the product that they want, right?
Well, you can't fucking hire people right now.
That's
like,
true too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not always about the technology.
Yeah, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, whoever the fuck, they can't hire people.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much goddamn money in the valley right now. Like, any asshole off the street can go raise money. It's not particularly hard right now. I mean, I think it will slowly.
Wait. Any asshole?
Well,
I got a lead actually right now. Sorry, I got another commitment.
Hold on, I gotta go raise around real quick.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, wait.
I could be that asshole.
Wait, okay, guys, we're gonna take a break for 10 minutes while he goes and raises, and we'll be right back.
Just holler out the window.
Yeah.
Holla!
Oh, there's a check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's David. David has Tim's check. Just 1 second.
Okay, so I think that pretty much covers that topic. Yeah. So
well,
basically,
let's think about it though.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to move on, we can.
No. Go ahead. I'll edit out my.
Do startups have a similar issue though as they get bigger?
Definitely, because it
Like-
becomes more difficult to hire as you grow your team. Like, you go from needing like generalists that can do anything to like people who are kind of in a niche and expect to get a lot of money, but like you don't have a lot of money yet because you're still growing. So like, you can do what can you do? You can maybe do like a merger between two similar companies and try and make the culture and the product work, or I don't know what you do. I've never done that.
Yeah, and there's like the Hacker News post was I think it was sometime last week. The guy's like, "Fuck your YC company because your benefits suck."
Yeah.
And you can't offer benefits as a startup that are nearly matching Facebook or Google or Twitter. And
I mean,
nobody wants to work for those.
It's not realistic.
Why would they come work for a startup?
Right, and I think that's another reason why Facebook wants to suck up all the talent, is because they want to kind of starve out all the other big competitors. I mean, if you allowed startups to exist, completely. I mean,
this is why Google and Facebook and Twitter have free food and amazing facilities on all kinds of shit on campus.
Massage,
it's so you don't go work for a freaking startup that could overtake them.
Right.
Like,
which actually might mean that the only people who are working in startups that do actually want to overtake them might have love enough for it to actually do it. Right?
I mean, what's the reality there? Like, so for Google, let's say, what is the reality that another startup is going to come and actually eat their lunch?
DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo is never going to have enough search volume to match Google.
It doesn't matter. They've already hurt their image with the tech community enough that I don't... Like, I still use Google most of the time, but I don't consider Google the definition of search anymore. And regardless of whether or not that is a monetary damage, it is a long-term image damage.
Are you sure it's not like it's not like a product versus product name, like Kleenex or Band-Aid, something like that?
Honestly, I think that Google has become the standard.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to avoid. It's baked into your mobile devices as the default search engine. I think people are less aware of their engine than ever before. I think that people who are still using the, desktop, like old people like you and me, actually have to go and click on an icon. So they're making that conscious decision. But when the browsers and search engine are already baked into your operating system, what choice do you have when you realize you have no choice?
Yeah, but Bing has star comedian Jonah Ray in their commercials now.
Yes, that makes me aware.
Star comedian Jonah Ray.
Love it.
Jonah Ray.
Who's Jonah Ray?
I'm mentioning you in a podcast.
What up, Jonah Ray?
Please say hi to me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone from the Nerdist wants to be on Techendo, we're here. We're here. Yeah, come on down.
Hey! Okay, so that's cool. I don't know how that's gonna be edited.
Edit the shit out of that.
Out is how it's gonna be edited.
Yeah.
Deleted.
Okay,
This is gonna be a shot of Zach taking his pants off, and that's it.
I promise you, I'll get through 10 more minutes of this, and then want to take a shot of something.
A bullet.
Please.
That needs to be it.
Okay.
Please have it it starts with you talking about how you're sober for a week, and then halfway through the show you're like, fuck it, you're doing a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Okay,
does hoe garden actually mean a garden of hoes?
you played that so well. It was your delivery was amazing.
You should
I was channeling shit Cortland said. Sorry, go ahead.
Generation gap in tech. Okay, hold on. So next up we'll talk about generation gap in technology and how technology was different with our parents and than it was to us, and then our children are totally going to have a different idea of what technology is.
Even children from 10 years ago have a different relationship with technology than we do. So our parents, they grew up, computers were big, you have mainframes, maybe you'd see one in a corner or in a movie, but it was a long time before you could have one in the home. And we all grew up, we had computers in the home, you hack on them, you get to know them, you love them, whatever. Everyone knows that shit. So kids today, they don't know a time where you didn't have access to something that was almost as powerful and faster than you. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's the acceleration, the computer that sent a spaceship.
But I mean, it's like when you grow up with something and when it's always been there, you know it so more intimately.
Well, yeah, it's like
than
the way
something that you had when you were 30.
The way we think of the telephone as just this inherent device that you use to communicate to somebody, and nobody thinks about how amazing it is that I can pick up something on the table and type a couple numbers in there, and I'm talking to my grandmother in Florida
or the Pope.
Right. I mean, imagine
you have the Pope's phone number?
You don't have the Pope's phone number? It's 555-867-POPE.
Ah.
Come on.
That's why they keep the 555 number for just movies.
That's the Vatican.
It's
That's
only
the Vatican.
Only movies in the Pope.
Yeah, the Vatican hates that. That's the one secret the Vatican doesn't want you to know.
Every number in a movie actually calls the Pope.
Yes.
But growing up, you saw your parents' technology, and it was pretty antiquated. It was terrible.
Not necessarily.
You don't think so?
I mean, the first time you see a television, or not television, the first time you see a telephone, and you realize I can call someone across town, because when you're little, across town seems
very far.
That's very far. And then you realize I can call across the country?
Yeah.
I can call across an ocean? I mean, I barely even understand what an ocean is when I'm 5 years old. You see it's just this big expanse. For your mind, that is everything that there is, until you step back and you see the entire globe. Like, that is an incredibly powerful thing.
Yeah.
But you get incredibly used to it so quickly.
I think we're missing the point here, though, the generation gap thing.
Yeah.
And, like, you think about it, my father works in technology. He is an electrical engineering major. He's worked in technology his entire life. He's very, very well respected in his field, in the field we all work in. My dad calls me for help setting up wireless routers.
Is it Waz?
Yeah. My dad is Waz.
Nice.
I am actually Waz's son.
Nice. You guys, stunning resemblance.
While, on the other hand, my ex-girlfriend's 11-year-old sister can use an iPhone better than I can.
Yeah.
It's really a shame about your fingers.
Yes.
Also, it's upside down.
Yeah.
You should stop.
You should stop using your phone that way.
If
This is an intervention, Zach.
If Apple would put the headphone jack on the correct
Yeah.
side, maybe I wouldn't make that mistake.
Yeah, so I was at the airport and I saw a 3-year-old using an iPhone and listening to her favorite music, like still in a stroller, picking out music. Like, it blows my mind.
Old dirty bastard.
But it's also a testament to it was.
Hey, baby, give me my money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I killed all the government chips out my body. I killed all my enemies at birth.
She was just playing that part over
Yes.
and over again, staring at people as they walk by.
I kill
all my enemies at birth.
I kill all my enemies at birth.
It's a real testament, though, to Old Dirty Bastard, but also the usability of and intuitiveness of our devices now.
Or even just how much we've revised on ideas where, like, someone who's still, like, coming up to speed with everything can use something like that.
Is it in... Well,
No, go ahead.
is it intuitive, though?
It is. I mean, if a 3-year-old can use it, that's the very definition of intuitive to me.
Is it intuitive, or do people just learn? Like, I feel like intuitive means somebody who is an adult who has not used this thing can pick it up and use it without having to learn, as opposed to somebody who is born in a world where this thing exists, knows how to do it.
But did you learn how to use your iPhone? I didn't. I picked it up and it was like swipe, and I swiped
and the
it.
iPhone is very intuitive, yes.
Yeah, and I had buttons.
But you think
Yes.
about it, like like the fucking spear, did not exist for hundreds of thousands of years until somebody figured out how to use a spear.
Some would even say it existed
And
didn't
so
exist for billions of years.
were all those people before?
It depends what religion you subscribe to. Really.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Yes.
okay, hundreds of years.
5 minutes, actually.
Hundreds of years beforehand.
History is constantly being
He's checking
rendered.
checking your watch.
Yeah.
5
minutes.
5 minutes and 3
A hair
seconds.
past a freckle, some might say. Sorry,
So-
continue.
But the javelin is or a spear is pretty fucking intuitive. You put the pointy end in the person you want dead.
Yes.
That's intuitive.
The business end, they call it.
As opposed to yes, the business end goes in the other person. The business end goes much like my penis. Your penis? Somebody's penis.
It's double-ended.
Okay.
Whatever.
I'm surprised.
First
David-
mention of penis in this Techendo so far.
Yeah. Not the last.
We've already discussed.
First recorded mention.
Yes.
We were a lot before that.
Okay, javelin.
But compared to, for instance, a car, which everyone uses now,
Nope,
but
I
is
don't.
not intuitive at all. It involves a learning process. So the question is, are all of these technologies things that are actually intuitive to use? Is the reason 3-year-olds are able to use them because they're intuitive, or is it because they are raised in the society that they exist in?
There's only one way to find out. Let's get a 3-year-old and put it in a car.
So coming up, a 3-year-old in a car using an iPhone.
Yes.
Yes.
At what age does texting and driving become dangerous?
Or become illegal.
So I was actually talking to a guy who's like 20. He's around 20, 21. And I mentioned video
Wait,
game
wait.
high school.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Video game high school?
Yeah,
Have you
it's on
seen that?
Netflix. I think it's Kevin Wong. I think that's his new
Yeah.
thing.
All I can think of
And-
is Clone High.
But yeah, and it's basically all of the stuff about video games baked into this kind of drama romance
But
kind of
when you say video games, what kind of video games do you mean?
like everything for first person shooters, racing games, Tetris, like
So
it
it's
has all
like the
these
gamut from like classic, Atari to like
Right.
day Xbox.
So the premise is
wrapped
like,
up in a high school sort of drama.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Great.
yeah,
Okay.
it's cool. It's like a comedy drama. I really enjoyed it. So,
Oh,
so
no.
I was talking.
Video game
I was
high.
talking to
So,
a 20-year-old
let's
about
separate
video
the
game
show.
high school, and I asked him if he had seen it, and he kind of laughed, and he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what? You didn't like it?" And he was like, "It's kind of a 40-year-old's idea of what video games are nowadays."
Wah, wah.
And that blew my fucking mind because I'm old now, and that I thought it was really cool.
Because
But
Dan and I are only 24, and so that
Yeah.
he thinks a 40-year-old.
Yeah, and so like it's just interesting how quickly technology evolves for people.
Yeah.
No, I think the opposite side of that is it's quickly how fast do you go from being like the hot new kid, like you're up and coming, you're 18, like you understand everything, you're a whiz kid, whatever fucking term you want to use, to being
That's what they labeled me.
I'm old. Yeah.
I was a whiz
I
kid.
saw pictures.
Young whiz kid.
I saw pictures.
I was
of
on
you.
the cover of Wired, the 1994
Yeah.
October.
Yeah, you did like
West
what?
October.
18 meter whiz, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, just the arc on
the
that.
whiz kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but I'm totally serious. Like, it's amazing how quickly you go from like feeling like you can be and do anything to like I'm fucking old. Like that entire like
Well, also how quickly
decade
it
goes by
happens
so
with,
fast.
with companies now. Like, remember when Nintendo mattered?
Remember when Google was like fucking small and like a big like scrappy company fighting like Microsoft and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like companies
yeah,
that
you
are
remember when
founded 4
Microsoft
years
mattered.
ago are now pretty much obsolete or
I would
Just
argue Microsoft
old.
still matters a lot, but
I think Microsoft will exist forever. Whether they matter is a different.
they are going to be the corporation from
So
Aliens
Generation-
and Predator.
generation
No,
gap.
I think that's going to be Amazon.
Welcome back to A New Techendo. My name is Dan Gailey,
I'm Zac Morris.
I'm Tim Jarratt.
and we're here to talk about tech.
Endo.
That's actually a winner. That's actually the winner.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next topic is incubators. Incubators. Are they worth it?
Really, I think sometimes the babies need it. Other times, I think they can grow on their own.
Deep.
Yeah, that was hard
I
cutting
love
commentary
that
by
joke.
Zac Morris.
So what are startup
I
incubators?
could say it a fourth time, and then maybe it'll be funnier.
Gardens?
Is this...
Gardens.
Speaking of Hogarden, thank you to Hogarden for sponsoring today's Techendo. If you want to
Beer-
raise your glasses.
Beer of
Ho garden. Does that mean a garden?
God, stop that joke.
No, that would say it.
Okay, so
But,
our...
on the topic of incubators, so I've never actually gone through that, but I have seen a lot of people doing it. It seems like a good way to like quickly have a lot of friends who are in the same circle, doing the same startup-y thing, and to have some sort of like social safety net, so you can talk about all the different, well, not really drama, but like the stress and the troubles you have as you grow a new company. Is that the best part of it, or is there more than that?
Wait, what's your question? I guess. Like, what do you wonder? What do you?
So I actually
discuss
asked the
about?
question in the subject when I said incubators, are they worth it?
Are they worth it? Incubators are worth it if you do not already have the connections necessary to make a successful company in the Valley.
What about money?
For instance, I started out and I did not know anybody in the startup field, and because I was in Y Combinator, I cheat coded my way to connections and networking in a way that I could not if I had not gone through Y Combinator.
So you did it solely for that.
It would have taken me years to meet the people, to make the connections, to gain the what's the word I'm looking
Network?
for? No, not the
Cloud?
yeah, the clout, the respect in the Valley that I gained through going through Y Combinator.
By being able to name drop Y Combinator.
Yes,
Zero,
based
Y zero.
purely on being able to name drop Y Combinator.
Yeah.
I gained that. If I had already, done startups multiple times and I knew all these people already, whether or not it would have been worth, the percentage of my company that I gave up is a different question.
Do you feel like it was a really significant percentage? Because it seems like it's just enough to make it worth for them in the long run, and like what they're actually giving you in the short term in terms of funding is enough for most people who don't already live here to move to like Mountain View or maybe some parts of San Francisco and like actually start having like their company operating. Are you discounting that
I'm
part of
not
it?
going to discuss percentages or amounts of money given
I'm not
by
saying the
Y Combinator,
percentage. Yeah. I feel like it's not.
But having...
But they list those numbers on
They don't have the exact ones.
Yeah, but like
Generally-
regardless of what it is, it seems like it's
'Cause it
not
differs.
that much compared to what you're actually getting.
Having had John move across the country, no, it is not enough money to move across the country and like
for
start over
one
again.
person,
For multiple people.
multiple people, so like 2 people.
Yeah, it's not actually enough money. What the value to the percentage you're giving up is not the money. The money, if you look at, and I'm
So
talking,
it's worth it for the network and not the money. Is
yes, if
basically
I'm
what we're
talking
about.
purely,
Okay.
So
Y
I've
Combinator.
actually known people that went through Y Combinator. I'm sorry, the incubator that I'm aware of, and they said that they wouldn't go back. That they would not go back through that incubator.
Is that a thing people do where you go back through the same incubator multiple times?
Yes, some people do. Yeah.
No. Really?
Yes.
Because I've never heard of that.
If I did a startup again, I'd do it again.
You'd go through Y Combinator?
Yeah, I would do it again.
And the reason they give
Huh.
is that they give up too much of the company, and they always want to work on their next big idea, and they don't want to give up that much of their big idea.
I mean, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with going from a startup and being acquired by a larger company, and what you do with that time. And it seems like a lot of people use that to sort of rest a little bit, have a fun, not super challenging, stressful experience like being in a startup, and get some money so that they can seed their next round of a startup. So, like, I'm really curious, like, why you would want to go through Y Combinator again. Like, what's the value there?
I would do it again because it lets me cheat on the parts of startups that I don't enjoy.
What's the part you don't enjoy?
It makes it easier for me to raise money. It makes it easier for me to meet people who want to give me money. It makes it easier for me to meet advisors. It makes easier for me to do all the shit that's not sitting down, writing code, and solving
But, I mean,
problems.
that's the entire pipeline that Y Combinator has created, right?
Yeah.
Was they get your company, they add some type of validation to your idea, so they pipeline you directly into investors and press.
Well, it's not just validation. It's that they provide somebody to bounce the ideas off of also. I mean, it's just, yes, I would do it again in a second. I would do it again in a second.
It's not that they provide events for you to do that. You still have to do it. Like, if you have a company and you don't go through it.
Also, yeah, they have very good free food.
Okay, yeah, that's probably true. But if you have your own company and you don't go through an incubator, then the reality is that you have to go and talk to people and pitch things to them, and you have to do that anyway. They just provide the event where you can do that yourself. So if you've already gone through that and you're going through again, what you're getting out of it is like the setup of like the actual demo day and all that, right?
Well, I will have spent 2 years at Facebook,
Okay.
and the environment changes.
Yeah, so I guess the argument for some people is that they already have this network, so why do they need to go through that pipeline again?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Some people do it because, I mean, there is something to be said, like you're a YC alum, but some people do it because I think press gives you more attention if you're like going through demo day and
if
you
you're
just
in a batch,
graduated, right, and you're in a
totally.
batch.
No, actually, you know what? The reason I would do it again is because the 3 months I was doing it, the level of support and camaraderie you have going through it with people who are doing the exact same thing, working 18-hour days regularly, it provides a level of support you generally do not have having support or doing startups. Doing startups is fucking lonely.
Yeah, it sucks. It's terrible.
It's fucking lonely. You have friends who are doing startups, yes.
Yeah.
I don't even like those guys.
Yeah, I mean, all of you guys are fucking assholes.
Yeah. Well, you're not doing a startup, so you're okay.
Yeah, so I'm fine. Everybody else no.
I love you assholes.
No, but during Y Combinator, you're all in the exact same situation, and so there is it's the same dynamic as like Alcoholics Anonymous. You have somebody else who's doing the literally. It's Y Combinator is Alcoholics Anonymous for startups. You have
startups.
You have a group of people who are going through the same struggle who are there to help you, and when you have problems, they're there to talk to you with you. That's the benefit of Y Combinator.
Enabling workaholism, right? Like that.
Yeah,
workaholism. Sure.
That's the benefit, I think.
But someone once said that if you were working well at Y Combinator, you're doing it wrong. You should be out there networking and talking to investors.
That's
why you're the co-founder.
I think
say it again.
David Kelso, I believe, said that.
Say it again. I didn't hear it.
If you're working well at Y Combinator, you're doing it wrong. You should be, out networking and talking to investors and, basically.
You got into Y Combinator a lot later in the startup than I did because we had a shitload of code to write.
Yeah,
there's always a shitload of code to run.
Booyah! Yeah, always.
But that's why you also have a co-founder. You're not both always doing the same thing.
Also, I don't want to do that.
But I think the point was that the true benefit of YC is the network, right? And the more you can take advantage of that, then the better.
So
Y Combinator doesn't get your code written faster.
Fair enough. But okay, how about this? If you went through YC again, or any incubator again, do you feel like you would have more to give other people, or do you feel like you would still be getting more out of the experience? Because you've gone through it before. You can share that experience with people who haven't, which will likely be most of your class. So do you think you are sharing with them, or do you feel like it's more you getting from that experience?
I don't think it's a give and take.
I'm really drunk and...
Alright, that's great. Okay, cool. I was talking to Zac, giving him this question.
I will not edit that.
I sat there. I was trying. I'm trying to process.
I'm saying all these work.
They're worth it for the right reasons. If those are the reasons why you went. There are several types of incubators out there, right? I mean, or at least several brands of
500 startups.
Right. Techstars.
We should start an incubator.
Oh, we will.
The Techendo stars.
You guys already named it.
Techendodonics.
Startups Anonymous.
Startups Anonymous.
Startups Anonymous.
Dan, you should rebrand SFHN to Startups.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, it's Valley Anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, cut it out. It's fine.
Yeah, cut it out.
Crew, fuck off.
So different types or different brands of incubators. Do they all offer the same advantages? Right? Because YC is probably the top. The cream of the crop, right?
At least within San Francisco, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think globally, I think they're the best.
I'm not global. I can't.
I don't know. Just to see who comes out of it and what they get from it, I think they set the pace.
Sure.
500 startups. Dave, that Dave guy.
McClure.
Dave McClure.
Dave McClure. Thank you, Laura.
It's like Dave Grohl. That's the guy from Nirvana.
Yeah. David Kelso? That guy is fucking busy.
David Kelso's over here.
Startups.
Yeah.
I heard. I know he's working right now, but damn.
So Dave McClure, he's made money off of what was it, PayPal and other things like that.
Yeah, he was in that.
He do actually.
That was.
Yeah.
I think so.
Ex PayPal, and actually sent him a text message, and he never replied back.
Aww.
I'll send him another one. Actually, I think I have his. Let's send him a live text message and tell him he's on Techendo. Where's my phone?
Did he have one of those Vatican phone
Here's
numbers?
one.
Oh wait, I do. Okay, Dave McClure. I do have it.
Please, I hope the actual number is on there.
It's not on there. It just says Dave McClure.
555.
So what do we say? Hi, you're live on Techendo.
Yes,
We're talking about
X-Men!
We're talking about X-Men.
and X-Men.
This is now Mad Lib's Techendo edition.
And
Asin?
once you know,
He's looking at it right now and being like, why did Dan Gailey type
if you
into
have
me?
any comments to add
About incubators and X-Men?
about incubators and X-Men.
Why is the word incubator
Sent.
so...
I just sent him.
No, you didn't.
I just sent Dave McClure.
Okay,
David?
No, you didn't.
That's a real fucking thing that just happened.
I am really drinking Hogarden.
Okay, we'll hang out.
A garden of hose.
We'll see if Dave McClure texts back.
Wait, did you really put in the X-Men thing?
Yeah, I said, hi, you're live on Techendo. We're talking incubators and X-Men and want to know if you have any comments to add.
Dude.
No, you didn't.
I bet, hold on, so I'm going to make a prediction. Dave McClure loves Jubilee.
If he doesn't text back, you're not gonna see any of this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
But I think 500 startups, and I'm biased that High Gear was in 500 startups. We didn't go to the dinners or anything, but they were an investor. And I think they're the next, like, they're comparable to YC in a sense. But a different philosophy of Phil,
they have very
right?
different philosophies in general.
And then like Techstars, and then does TechCrunch have an incubator?
I think Arrington does, right?
No, they don't. Okay.
Isn't Arrington?
There's a Portland one, there's a Seattle one, there's a Boston one, there's one for cities.
Isn't there one that's like new in NYC?
The only two that fucking matter are Y Combinator and 500 Startups.
Yeah.
Like, be completely honest, those are the only two that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, from the raising money, meeting people perspective, I think there's a lot to be said about the
Large networks.
Yeah, the camaraderie thing. I think you can get that from things in general, though.
Yeah,
Y Combinator and 500 Startups are the two that matter. And I think the differences of the philosophy, I think Y Combinator is much more build a minimal viable product, and 500 Startups is much more a network and raise people kind of thing.
Interesting.
Okay, cool.
Next up, programming language of the week.
So what have you been using for programming recently, David?
So,
Dan?
thank you.
No, David. What have you been using for programming recently, David?
I've been really getting into functional languages recently.
Really?
Yeah, so I really like the idea of Haskell.
Well,
Tell David what he has to do.
Okay, so what we were thinking about doing is sort of like, oh, what have you been doing? I've been working with X, and I have these problems with it. What are the problems you have? They're X, Y, and Z. How do you solve them? Oh, if it were functional, if it were lazy evaluation, if it were pure, if it were more mathematical.
I'm not on camera. I'll let you guys do it.
Yeah, all right. If you guys want to do it, we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our next segment is called Programming Language of the Week.
Fuck.
So I've been using the shit out of Ruby because I know that, and I know PHP and other things. But Ruby's what I've been using lately.
Yeah, I've been running a lot of Ruby.
And honestly, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's like spooning like an old girlfriend.
I can hear a million nerds just raging out there because I said Ruby is great.
Ruby is actually perfect. I think it's actually
it's a great language.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But it's not challenging.
No.
It's not challenging, and it only does it's only single threaded.
No, I think it could be challenging if you need it to be. I mean,
No.
sometimes it's challenging.
It's so obvious
I
when
can
you need
actually
a lot of
read
Ruby
it.
code. Yeah, you can
I
read
can
it.
read the code.
It says what it does, and
Yeah.
it is.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's awful.
I need
Like,
something
you can't.
that's
You
terrible.
can't hide Easter
And
eggs in it.
I want something where I've got to look up every other word in the manual.
Yeah, all of the functions in Ruby, they just make sense.
I want a programming
ordering is
language that
perfect.
requires every
Yes.
coder to have a beard.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
the beard is so you can take notes in the beard.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. Exactly.
You store the notes
Why do you
in
guys
the
think
beard.
I grew this?
Why? What language do you think? How about you guys? What do you guys code in?
I basically work at Facebook, so of
Yeah.
course I also use Ruby.
Okay.
Naturally.
As everybody knows, Facebook is written completely in Ruby.
Rails. It's a Rails app.
Yeah, Rails that compiles to
Rails.
Django.
It's a specific version of Rails that compiles to C++ to run better performance-wise. There are some eccentricities involved in the different Rails-isms. The connection to the database and stuff is a little bit different, et cetera, et cetera. But generally, it's Rails.
It's Rails that compiles to C++, that then compiles to PHP.
Yes.
And then goes back to C++.
Of course, PHP. I mean,
Right.
we want it to work well.
That's yes.
Yeah.
Like how exactly would we insert our SQL injection errors if we didn't go through PHP?
How
I like
else
that.
would you find your needles in your haystacks?
Yeah. Like,
Obviously. Okay, so that's cool.
so Tim, you work at Apple, so
Yeah, I work at Apple Computers with a K. And we're hiring if anyone wants a job disassembling iPhones in Shenzhen. But I've been writing a lot of our front-end stuff in JavaScript, which is amazing. You get to do all that flashy, front-end stuff.
That's actually on my resume.
Yeah.
JavaScript.
Yeah, me too.
I've done the woo.
Yeah, the woo part.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that, and it's fun, but I've got all this state I'm carrying around, and my functions are so impure. They're like they're just like they are the dirtiest functions ever. It's gross.
So Tim, for most of your like front-end client stuff, like
Yeah.
the stuff in the browser, have you considered Ruby?
I have considered Ruby that compiles to C++, that compiles to PHP.
That compiles to JavaScript.
That then kicks you in the balls. But you know, it's just like it's not mathematical enough. It's more like a bro like punching you in the face. Like, why are you hitting yourself? I want more like the neckbeard that's sitting there going like, how could you do this more lazily? Right? You know?
What would you use?
So I think it makes sense. I think
Yeah,
we all know.
it's unanimous.
Yeah, right,
it's clear.
Yeah.
The
On
answer?
three?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Visual Basic.
What? Visual Basic?
Wait, what?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wait. Haskell.
Haskell.
Have list of internet fetishes or list of fucked up communities on the internet. Let's just list anything we can think of that's fucked up.
People who mod sex into video games.
Okay, that's another thing that happens.
Okay, that is
shitting dick nipples.
I don't even know what that is.
It's literal
But
turds.
you don't need to describe it.
Okay,
It's
okay,
self-descriptive. It's
shitting dick nipples.
self-descriptive.
Okay, let's keep
What's
doing
that?
it. Dan?
Doing this.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Oh god.
So I think dragons fucking cars has to be one of the weirdest fetishes.
That's good.
Of course, bronies.
Bronies.
That's pretty normal. I feel like we shouldn't call those people out. I mean, they're just, you know,
Monster sex.
having fun.
Monsters that are raping people.
Natural.
You guys
Is that a rape? You mean anime?
no, well, yeah, but I mean ultra realistic monsters.
Yeah.
You know, like you know,
Like Swamp Thing, the TV show?
basically, yeah.
I
that's a
think
thing.
it's weird when guys take pictures of themselves ejaculating on printed out photos of things.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That's
totally.
a thing?
That's a thing. That's a fucking thing. Look it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Giggity. On Dance Wireless Network.
What else?
Hello,
What else is
NSA.
good? What else is good?
The people that want to have sex with airplanes. Like the sexy,
Oh.
like, I'm a 747. Like, I'm blushing. You know, I got my tailpipe. Like, that's fucked up.
I've seen that one. That one's really good.
That's really fucking good.
What else?
The guys that want to have sex with women? That's fucking weird.
Oh, did you see the picture of the printed out female Yoda character with the green fleshlights stuck between the mattresses? Yeah, that's kind of
Oh
weird.
no, I know what I'm googling.
What the fuck?
There's also another site where there's a bunch of pictures of Zac Morris sleeping and some guys ejaculating all over them.
Oh, yeah. That's my website. Yeah, that's ZachMorris.com.
You'd be surprised how much money I make a day from the advertisements on that site.
You're not supposed to get that money until you're 18.
I don't think this is going to be aired.
What is currently going on Reddit? David, read us the top 3 comments or topics on Reddit, and we will
you guys
discuss
not
them.
talk about the PyCon conference?
Read them one at a time.
Black hole.
That sounds like the
No, don't wanna touch it.
best possible way to get hate email ever.
Black hole found ripping apart a red dwarf that's orbiting.
Another fetish.
Another amazing fetish. So hard to get good pictures of a black hole
Ripping apart a red dwarf.
That's orbiting at record-breaking speed.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Okay, another random Reddit.
Okay, well, I think everything about
Yeah.
that has been said for itself.
I think
Bill Gates has $100,000 for anyone who can invent a high-tech next-gen condom.
Why is all of Reddit about sex?
I'm just picking and choosing.
Wait, is that the Onion?
Okay.
It's murder.
Okay, so I think we've reached the end of Techendo this week.
No, we've got other things written.
The tech
What else is written in there?
There's nothing really written in there. I never write anything in here.
Never.
Just a blank notebook I carry around. Sorry.
Moleskine.
I actually just write Zac Morris over and over and over again on every page.
Different scripts.
End of Techendo. Thanks for joining us.
Forever.
It was. We are banned from YouTube now. So this is the part where we plug our various projects and things like that. You can visit San Francisco Hacker News. And check out the latest events going on around the Bay Area for programmers, designers, whoever wants to hang out. Come on out. Except recruiters. Fuck you.
Most of my work currently is on purebutt.com. I recommend it if you're interested in all things purely butt.
Check out
.com.
Check out my new project for gardening enthusiasts. It's lemonparty.com.
Don't go to any of those.
It's .org, isn't it?
Thanks for watching another episode of Techendo. Thanks to our guests, Zac Morris, Tim Jarratt,
Thank you.
Laura Kelso, David Kelso are over there too, surfing the web. Visit San Francisco Hacker News, sfhackernews.com, and hopefully you'll stop by next time when I'm still sober. And we have other people. Who are our guests next time?
After we are murdered.
Who are our guests?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle will be here.
You will.
Oprah.
Oprah will be here as well.
Well, no,
Dave
Oprah's...
And Dave McClure. Oh, speaking of which, Dave McClure has not texted me back.
So if you are Dave
Sorry.
McClure, please text us back.
Yeah, maybe on the next episode of Techendo. Dan burns all his bridges. Alright, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later. Say bye. This one. I have to say that every time. This one.
Zach.
Bye.